Episode 2, Unexpected Guest, is very different from the first episode, My Status is Living.
So to start out, Rebourne Forest, Forest of Reborn, whatever you want to call it, in this episode is very pristine. It's undisturbed, or at least hasn't been disturbed for a while, and we find Aapo alone, sort of just going about his business and doing what he's always enjoyed doing.
The trees, they were really old and they were dying a lot, and so Aapo helped build this system that keeps them alive. And so he lives in the forest and kind of back and forth between the forest and the village, and he takes care of the forest and he kind of nurtures his environment.
The music that we came up for Aapo is very playful. It's because it represents his personality, his character.
Very quickly, we will see that he is introduced to something that he hasn't had to face personally, and some things that he hasn't had to deal with for quite a while now.
We want to reflect the emotional core of him, the loneliness inside him, and kind of how he has to struggle and pull through all these hard situations by himself.
As that progresses, that part of the story, he has to figure out exactly what matters to him most, what he sees as important, and how exactly he should deal with those things.
There's almost like it's really just him alone facing all these unfamiliar situations in his familiar place, if that makes any sense.
And then some humans come to the village that he doesn't know, and it stirs up some controversy.
It's a large inner conflict that he has to deal with, along with dealing with the external conflicts that pose themselves.
We're playing all this music from Aapo's perspective, so like a lot of it has to do with how do we paint humans in Aapo's eyes.
As we kind of move forward through his struggles, yeah, it starts to get a little on edge. Things start to get a little bit tense.
There is a bit of switching between both sort of Aapo's digital and then a bit of a newer, more intense, very dark, gritty electronic side. There's more organic as well. So that's a very sort of a new mixture that we try to introduce in this episode.
So I would say that the theme of episode 2, if we had to narrow it down, would be questions, and I guess more importantly, self-discovery in a way. In some ways it might not be something that Aapo wants to deal with, but he ultimately knows that he has to.